There comes a time when your heart grows tired of waiting for someone to see you, to choose you, to love you enough that you can finally rest. You begin to wonder, will it always feel this lonely? But what if I told you the love you've been searching for has been within you all along, quietly waiting for permission to shine? You've spent years trying to earn love by being the good one, the helper, the listener, the strong one. You gave, you sacrificed, you forgave too quickly, hoping one day someone would give back the way you do. But love built on need is never peace, it's a transaction. And your soul was born for something deeper. Love does not come from others, it flows through you. It cannot be withdrawn because it is not borrowed. The real reason you still feel unloved is because you've been trying to find in others what can only be awakened in yourself. And once it's awakened, no one can take it away. You see, we were all taught to search outside for approval, for affection, for someone who would finally make us feel enough. But every time you chase love, you confirm a lie that you don't already have it. The truth is, you are love in human form. You don't need to earn what you already are. Feeling unloved isn't a sign that love is missing. It's a sign that self-rejection has been speaking louder than self-acceptance. Every thought that says, I am unworthy, is just an echo from the past, a voice you inherited from someone who forgot their own worth too. What if you stopped waiting to be chosen and started choosing yourself? What if you looked in the mirror and said, I am the one I've been waiting for? That one thought can change everything. Because when you finally love yourself, you stop trying to convince others to stay and start attracting those who naturally do. Every relationship mirrors how we feel about ourselves. The world reflects the love or lack we hold within. When you love yourself deeply, life begins to respond. The right people appear, the right opportunities unfold. But it's not because you begged for love, it's because you became love. It begins quietly. The moment you start treating yourself with the tenderness you once begged from others, the moment you forgive yourself for every time you settled, the moment you realize that the love you give away is sacred and you deserve it too, that's when life begins to glow again. So many of us confuse attention with affection. We think being wanted means being loved. But need is not love, it's survival. When you are in need, you abandon yourself to keep connection. When you are in love with yourself, you honor your truth, even if it means standing alone. And standing alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means standing whole. It means you no longer fear silence, because silence becomes your sanctuary. It means your happiness no longer depends on someone's message, someone's mood, someone's promise. You become your own safe place. The truth is, no one can fill a space inside you that was meant for your own presence. No amount of attention can replace self-approval. No relationship can fix self-abandonment. The healing begins when you stop outsourcing love and start nurturing it from the inside out. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, look in the mirror, and instead of criticizing your reflection, you say, I love you, and I'm learning to love you more each day. Imagine how your body would respond, how your heart would soften, how your energy would shift. That's not fantasy, that's alignment. You don't heal loneliness by adding more people. You heal it by deepening connection with yourself. Because when you truly love yourself, you stop trying to extract love from others, you share it. You stop demanding validation and start radiating peace, and suddenly life mirrors it back to you everywhere you go. But it takes courage to stop chasing love. It takes trust to believe that being alone doesn't mean being unloved. And it takes practice, mirror work, affirmations, gentle words. Because your inner child has been waiting years to hear, you are enough exactly as you are. So let this be your reminder. You are not unloved, you are unacknowledged. You are not broken, you are unpracticed in your own tenderness. You are not missing love, you are missing self-approval. And the moment you decide to give it to yourself, everything changes. There comes a tender moment in every heart when we realize we have been chasing love in all the wrong places. We have looked into the eyes of others, searching for something that was never truly lost, only misplaced within ourselves. We have been taught to seek love as though it were a prize, rather than the essence of who we already are. As little children, most of us learned that love had conditions. We were praised when we were quiet, scolded when we cried, rewarded for pleasing others, and corrected for showing too much of our true selves. Slowly, we learned that love must be earned, that approval was safety, and that rejection meant we were somehow unworthy. And from that moment, the journey away from ourselves began. I remember in my own life how deeply I longed for approval. I believed that if I could only be good enough, kind enough, helpful enough, someone would stay and love me. Yet, no matter how much I gave, it never felt like enough, because I had forgotten the most vital truth. Love cannot be bought or bargained. It can only be allowed. We carry invisible contracts written in childhood, contracts that whisper, if I am perfect, they will love me. If I never make mistakes, they will stay. These silent agreements imprison the heart. They keep us performing roles rather than living freely. They make us actors in our own lives, constantly watching ourselves from a distance, asking, am I lovable now? How exhausting it becomes to keep earning something that was never meant to be earned. How heavy it feels to wake each morning and wear masks just to be seen. We grow tired because love does not thrive in effort, it blooms in ease. It does not arrive through pleasing others. It awakens when we are at peace with ourselves. When we look for love outside, we become beggars of affection. We grasp at crumbs of attention and call them nourishment. We confuse being wanted with being valued, and we mistake sacrifice for devotion. But every act of self-abandonment carries a cost, the dimming of our own light. Real love never demands that we shrink. You see, love is not a transaction. It is not an exchange of worth for attention. It is the natural rhythm of the heart when we remember that we are already enough. When we stop proving and begin allowing, something miraculous happens. The ache of emptiness fades, and we start to feel whole again. There is a sacred exhaustion that precedes awakening. It is the moment when we realize that trying harder will not make us more lovable. It is the blessed moment of surrender when we whisper, I cannot keep striving. And in that stillness, life finally has room to speak. My darling, you were never unworthy. You only forgot who you are. Love is not a reward, it is your birthright. No one gave it to you, and no one can take it away. It has lived quietly in your heart since the day you were born. Even when you made mistakes, even when others failed to see you, love remained. It waited patiently for the day you would turn inward again and listen. Each time you judge yourself, you close the door to that sacred flow. Each time you forgive yourself, you open it wider. Self-condemnation is a wall. Self-acceptance is a bridge. Love flows naturally when guilt no longer clogs its stream. You do not have to force love to return, you only have to stop resisting it. We have all been taught to criticize ourselves before anyone else can, to preempt rejection by withholding love from our own hearts. Yet that inner harshness was learned, and what was learned can be unlearned. The mind is not the enemy, it is simply repeating old stories. When we speak kindly to it, it learns a new rhythm. You may not believe at first that love can come from within, but it does. Just as the sun does not beg the flowers to bloom, love does not beg your approval. It shines regardless. When you begin to treat yourself gently, the entire universe begins to mirror that gentleness. The outer world adjusts to match the peace you cultivate inside. There is a simple practice I often teach. Pause, place your hand on your heart, feel the warmth beneath your palm. and whisper softly, I am willing to love myself. Do not force belief. Begin with willingness. Even if you cannot yet say, I love myself, you can say, I am willing to learn. That small willingness opens every door. When you speak these words with sincerity, you are calling your heart home. You are telling your inner child it is safe to rest. You no longer have to earn love. You are love. And slowly the body begins to relax, the breath deepens, and the mind quiets. For the first time in years, you begin to feel that perhaps life is not against you after all. In truth, life has always been for you. Every experience, even the painful ones, has been an invitation to remember love. The heartbreaks, the losses, the disappointments, each has carried a single message. Turn inward. Come home to yourself. The soul does not punish, it teaches through contrast. We discover that what we call the absence of love was never real. It was only the presence of fear, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. But fear has no power when we meet it with compassion. It fades like mist in the sunlight of awareness. When we choose love over fear, healing begins instantly. You might ask, but how can I feel love when no one is giving it to me? My answer is gentle. You are the one you've been waiting for. The love you seek has always been available. It was simply waiting for your permission to be felt. Others can reflect love to you, but they cannot create it for you. Love does not arrive through approval. It awakens through attention. The moment you notice yourself, your needs, your feelings, your dreams, you begin to nurture the very love you once begged for. Every act of self-care, every kind word you speak inwardly, tells your subconscious, I am deserving. When you fall asleep tonight, instead of listing your faults, whisper words of kindness. Say, I did my best today. I am learning. I am growing. I am loved. Those thoughts, repeated nightly, become seeds. And just as seeds bloom quietly beneath the soil, self-love grows silently within your heart until one day it fills your whole being. Remember this truth. You were never unlovable. You were only unseen by those still blind to their own light. Do not make their blindness your burden. You are not meant to dim yourself for others to stay. You are meant to shine so brightly that those who are ready can find their way home to love through you. When we begin to love ourselves, we stop chasing, we stop pleading, we stop waiting for permission to exist. Life begins to feel softer, more cooperative. Doors open, kindness meets us unexpectedly. We realize that life was never withholding anything, it was only waiting for us to receive. And so I invite you now, gently, to remember, love is not something you earn by doing more. It is something you remember by being still. It is not a visitor you must impress. It is the house you have always lived in. Every breath you take is proof that love flows through you now and forever. The great illusion of separation dissolves when we say, I am enough. That one thought cancels every belief of lack. It restores peace to the heart and harmony to the body. It reminds us that our purpose is not to seek love, but to express it. So let this part of your journey be simple. Each morning, place your hand upon your heart and whisper, I am willing to love myself. Do this not as a demand, but as a blessing. In time, you will feel a quiet warmth, not from outside, but from within. That is love returning to its rightful home. And when it does, you will realize that you were never broken, never forgotten, never unloved. You were simply waiting for your own approval. You were waiting for the moment you would see yourself clearly, not through the eyes of fear, but through the eyes of love. That moment is now. Love has never left you. It was you all along. Every feeling of being unloved has one root, the quiet, corrosive thought that says, I am not enough. This belief lives in the body like an old echo, repeating itself until we mistake it for truth. Yet it was never the truth. It was only a misunderstanding, learned in pain, whispered by those who had forgotten their own worth too. You see, unworthiness is not born with us. It is taught sometimes through silence, sometimes through neglect, sometimes through words said in anger that we took too seriously. And the child, eager to make sense of the world, decides, it must be me. That thought lodges deep within and grows roots in the heart, shaping how we see everything that follows. When a parent turns away, when a friend betrays us, when a lover withdraws, the wound reopens, confirming the old story. We begin to collect proof of our supposed inadequacy. We replay mistakes like evidence, forgetting that love was never a test we had to pass. The mind, unhealed, becomes a mirror reflecting only what it believes. Unworthiness often speaks through the body. The body, my dear, is always listening. It translates our thoughts into sensations, our emotions into chemistry. When the mind repeats, I am not safe, I am not loved, I am not enough, the body tightens, the breath shortens, the heart constricts. It is only trying to protect us, but the protection feels like pain. I remember when my own body cried out for attention, when illness became the language of emotions I had refused to feel. My body whispered what my voice would not say, please love me. And I learned that true healing does not begin with medicine alone. It begins when we stop speaking harshly to ourselves and start offering compassion instead. Every ailment, every ache, every tear carries a message. When we listen with kindness, the body begins to release its grip. The tension eases, not because we have fought the pain, but because we have understood it. Forgiveness of ourselves, of others, is the key that unlocks the tight places where resentment has made its home. Forgiveness does not mean we condone what happened. It means we free ourselves from living it twice, once in the past, and once each day we refuse to let it go. The one who forgives is not naive. They are courageous. To forgive is to say, I choose peace over pain. And peace is the soil in which love grows again. I know that many people fear forgiveness, thinking it makes them weak or foolish. Yet holding on to anger does not protect the heart, it poisons it. I learned that resentment is like drinking venom and hoping another will fall. The only one who suffers is the self. When we let go, we do not free the other, we free ourselves. There was a time in my life when guilt followed me everywhere. I believed I should have known better, done better, been better. But guilt keeps us bound to the past, forever trying to fix what is already gone. Love, on the other hand, speaks softly. You did the best you could with what you knew then. Now you know more, and you can choose differently. It is in that choosing that transformation begins. Healing is not a single moment. It is a series of small mercies we offer ourselves daily. When guilt arises, we meet it with gentleness. When old stories whisper, we answer with kindness. When we stumble, we remind ourselves that falling is part of learning to walk again in love. Many fear self-love, believing it's selfish. But selfishness is born of lack. Self-love is born of fullness. A person who loves themselves deeply has more to give, not less. They no longer demand from others what they have already found within. Their giving is clean, without hidden need or expectation. It flows freely, like sunlight. The most generous act we can offer the world is a healed, peaceful self. Every loving thought you think contributes to peace on this planet. When you release your inner war, the world around you softens. As within, so without. We do not heal in isolation. We heal the collective each time we choose love over fear. So let us begin the gentle work of release. Think now of someone you have not forgiven, perhaps yourself. See their face in your mind or your own reflection. Breathe deeply and say, I am willing to forgive. I am willing to be free. You may not feel ready, but willingness is enough. The heart opens one breath at a time. You might feel resistance. You might hear a voice saying, "They do not deserve my forgiveness." But this is not about deserving. This is about your freedom. When you forgive, you do not declare the act right. You declare yourself ready to stop suffering. The past loses its grip only when we stop holding its hand. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is the one in the mirror. We punish ourselves long after the world has moved on. We relive our mistakes, replay our regrets, and rehearse our shame. Yet each moment spent in self-condemnation is a moment stolen from peace. You cannot punish yourself into wholeness. You can only love yourself there. Imagine for a moment that you are holding the child you once were. You would not scold that child for not knowing better. You would not call them unworthy. You would hold them, whispering, "It's all right now. You are safe. You are loved." That child still lives within you, waiting for that same tenderness. Offer it now. Each loving thought soothes the body. Each kind word quiets the nervous system. The muscles that once braced for criticism begin to relax. The heartbeat steadies. The breath deepens. This is proof that the mind and body are one. As we heal the thoughts, the cells rejoice. As we bless the body, the mind grows still. When the heart begins to open again, there may be tears. Do not resist them. Tears are love's way of cleansing what no longer serves. They are not weakness, they are release. Let them fall freely, knowing that each drop carries away a fragment of the old belief, "I am not enough." The river of healing flows through every tear we allow. You may notice memories resurfacing moments when you felt invisible or rejected. Do not turn from them. Bring them into the light of awareness and speak to them kindly. Say, "That was then. This is now. I am no longer that frightened child. I am safe. I am loved." With each repetition, the past loses its power to define you. The subconscious learns through repetition. It believes whatever we tell it most often. So let us teach it something new. Repeat softly, "I now release all need to punish myself. I am free to love and be loved." Say it aloud. Feel it in your body. With each repetition, you rewrite the script of your life. Notice how your energy shifts. The heaviness begins to lift. The inner critic grows quieter, replaced by a gentle inner voice, one that sounds like a friend rather than an enemy. That voice has always been there. You had only turned down its volume to survive. Now, you may turn it up again. Let it speak love into every silence. Unworthiness cannot survive in the presence of compassion. Compassion says, "I see your pain, and I choose to love you through it." When we extend compassion to ourselves, we create space for others to do the same. And as the circle widens, we realize that healing is not selfish, it is sacred service to the whole. When love returns to the heart, the world begins to look different. The colors brighten, the air feels lighter, the smallest kindness moves you to gratitude. You begin to see love reflected everywhere, in the sunrise, in a stranger's smile, in the quiet moments when you are simply breathing. Love becomes your atmosphere. Each morning, when you wake, take a moment before the world rushes in. Place your hand over your heart and whisper, "Today, I release all need for self-punishment. I choose peace. I choose love." Feel the warmth beneath your palm. That warmth is your own life saying thank you. Gratitude is love's language. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you have always been beneath the fear. You are not broken. You are covered in the dust of old beliefs. When you wash them away with forgiveness, your true self shines. Again, radiant, innocent, whole. This is your natural state. If ever doubt returns, and it will, because the mind is a creature of habit, do not despair. Each doubt is merely an opportunity to practice again. Say, I choose love. Say it 1,000 times if you must. The mind eventually believes what it hears most often. And when it believes in love, the body follows. Do not rush this process. Healing unfolds at the pace of kindness. Some wounds are ready to close, others need more time. Be patient with your progress. Life never asks you to be perfect, only present. Every step toward self-acceptance is a step toward peace, no matter how small. When we stop believing we are unworthy, we stop attracting experiences that mirror that belief. Life begins to meet us at our new vibration. People who once challenged our peace drift away. Those who honor our growth appear. Circumstances rearrange themselves to match our newfound worthiness. And so I say again, softly but firmly, you are enough. You were always enough. Nothing you could ever do or fail to do could make you more or less deserving of love. You are lovable because you exist. That is all that has ever been required. Let these words sink deeply into your consciousness. I now release all need to punish myself. I am free to love and be loved. Write them, speak them, live them. Each time you repeat them, you carve a new path in your mind, one that leads not to guilt, but to grace. And as you walk that path, something miraculous happens. The old wound of unworthiness no longer bleeds. It becomes a scar, not ugly, but sacred, a reminder of how far you have come and how deeply love has carried you. The wound no longer defines you. It has transformed into wisdom. At last you understand that healing is not about perfection. It is about returning to your natural rhythm. It is the rhythm of peace, of self-approval, of unconditional acceptance. And when you live in that rhythm, you discover that love has never been something to earn. It has always been the very essence of who you are. So let us end this part with a blessing. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and repeat, I now release all need to punish myself. I am free to love and be loved. Feel those words like sunlight touching every cell of your body. You are forgiven, you are safe, you are loved, and in this moment, you are free. We cannot give what we have not given to ourselves. For years, many of us have tried to pour from an empty cup, offering understanding, patience, and compassion to others while denying them to the one person who needed them most, ourselves. Self-love cannot remain an idea. It must be lived, practiced, spoken aloud again and again until it becomes as natural as breathing. The mirror, simple as it seems, is a holy tool for this practice. It reflects not only our face, but our consciousness. It shows us what we believe about ourselves in that moment. That is why so many fear looking into it, not out of vanity, but because within those eyes, we see the truth of our own neglect. Yet, the mirror does not judge, it simply reveals. It waits patiently for us to remember kindness. I often say that your relationship with the mirror is your relationship with yourself. How you speak to your reflection is how you speak to your soul. Most of us have spent years criticizing that image, pointing out flaws, wrinkles, scars, mistakes. We have forgotten to notice the light in our eyes, the courage in our expression, the quiet beauty that has endured everything and still stands before us. I invite you now to turn this moment into a sacred one. Go to your mirror, look into your own eyes. Do not rush, breathe softly. At first, you may feel discomfort, even resistance. The mind will try to turn away, whispering old insults, replaying old judgments. But stay. Stay and witness yourself with the same gentleness you would offer a beloved friend. Say quietly, I am willing to see the good in you. You do not have to believe it yet. Willingness is enough. These words plant the seed of transformation. When you look into your own eyes and speak them sincerely, something shifts, a small opening appears in the heart where love can begin to enter again. The smallest crack lets the light through. When you return to this practice daily, the mirror begins to change. It does not alter your reflection, it alters your perception. You start to notice beauty where you once saw failure. You begin to soften toward yourself. And one day, without warning, you find yourself smiling back at your reflection, not from pride, but from recognition you have met yourself again after a long separation. Each word of kindness spoken into the mirror reprograms the mind. You have spoken harshly to yourself for years. Those thoughts became grooves worn deep in your consciousness. But repetition is powerful. When you tell yourself, I love you, I approve of you, you are doing just fine. You begin to carve new grooves, paths that lead not to fear, but to peace. At first, the old voice will argue. It will call you foolish or unworthy. It will remind you of every past mistake as if proof were needed that you cannot be loved. But that voice is not truth. It is a habit, and habits dissolve when we refuse to feed them. The more you speak kindly, the weaker that old critic becomes. Its strength lies only in repetition, the same power you now use for healing. There will be days when your reflection feels foreign, when tears rise unbidden, when you cannot meet your own gaze without trembling. Those are sacred days. They mean the walls are crumbling, that the heart is beginning to open. Let the tears fall. Each one carries away an old judgment. Each one waters the soil of your new self-acceptance. The mirror does not lie, but neither does it condemn. It will show you both your tenderness and your resistance. And if you stay long enough, breathing, softening, allowing, the resistance will begin to melt. You will see a spark behind your eyes that is your soul remembering its own worth. You are meeting yourself as love for perhaps the first time. Be patient with this process. Just as flowers do not bloom in one night, self-approval unfolds slowly, gently. It is not achieved through force, but through consistency. A few minutes each day are enough. In time, those few minutes will transform the hours that follow. Until you no longer need a mirror to remember your beauty, you will feel it everywhere you go. I learned through my own healing that patience is love in action. I once demanded perfection from myself before I could offer approval. I believed I had to fix everything first. But that approach kept me trapped in criticism. Real healing began only when I allowed myself to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. You are not meant to erase every flaw. The cracks in you are where compassion enters. They are what make you human, relatable, real. The same light that shines through stained glass is made more beautiful by its imperfections. When you embrace your humanness, you become radiant. The world needs your light, not your perfection. So, stand before the mirror again and say, I am already enough. Not, I will be enough when, but I am enough now. Feel those words in your chest. Let them vibrate through every cell. You are not a project to be completed. You are a being to be cherished. Love is not something you achieve. It is the foundation from which you already exist. Many people ask me, but Louise, what if I don't believe these words? I tell them, you do not need belief, you need repetition. The mind learns by hearing, the heart heals by feeling, and the soul awakens by patience. Speak the words until they become natural. One day, you will believe without trying. It will feel as normal as breathing. Affirmations are not magic spells, they are reminders. They remind the mind of what the heart already knows, that love is your natural state. When you affirm love, you are not creating something new. You are uncovering what was buried. You are returning to your original harmony. You are simply saying yes to the truth that has always been. Sometimes the process of relearning love reveals the places where you still resist it. You might see where you criticize yourself most: the body, the past, the choices you regret. These are not signs of failure. They are invitations. Each area of resistance is a doorway to deeper acceptance. Walk through gently. Say to each, I see you and I choose to love you still. Your body too needs to hear your love. It has carried your memories, absorbed your emotions, and remained loyal despite neglect. Look at your reflection and thank your body. Thank you for keeping me alive. Thank you for enduring. Thank you for trying so hard to protect me. Gratitude softens the armor we have, built around our physical form. If you have judged your body harshly, today you may begin to make peace. Touch the places you have criticized and bless them. Speak to them as you would a tired friend. You have done enough. You are loved. The body responds to love like a plant to sunlight. It straightens, it glows, it begins to trust again. Remember, each time you practice self-love, you are undoing years of neglect. Be kind to yourself about your pace. If you can look into your eyes for 1 minute today, that is enough. Tomorrow, perhaps 2. What matters is not the duration, but the sincerity. Even 1 drop of real self-approval has the power to ripple through every area of your life. As days pass, you may notice subtle miracles. People treat you with more respect. You feel calmer in moments that once brought anxiety. Opportunities flow where before there was resistance. This is not coincidence. The world mirrors the relationship you have with yourself. As you honor your reflection, life begins to honor you. In this new relationship with yourself, silence becomes sacred. When you no longer fear your own presence, you discover peace in the simplest moments: brushing your hair, washing your face, looking at the morning light. These ordinary acts become rituals of love. They remind you that you are both the giver and receiver of tenderness. I often end mirror sessions by placing both hands over my heart and whispering, I am lovable exactly as I am. Feel how those words vibrate. Say them until they feel true. With each repetition, the voice of the old critic fades, replaced by the steady hum of self-approval. This is the song of healing, quiet, patient, eternal. There may be days when the mind protests, when you slip into old habits of judgment. Do not despair. Healing does not erase the past. It transforms your relationship to it. Each time you catch yourself criticizing, pause and gently say, that was the old way. I now choose love. That simple redirection rewires your entire consciousness over time. It is not about perfection. It is about practice. Love deepens through repetition, through gentleness, through the decision to return to yourself again and again. You may leave yourself 1,000 times, but you can also return 1,001. Each return strengthens the bond. Each act of return is proof that love always wins. Self-love, once practiced long enough, begins to flow effortlessly. It becomes the background music of your life. You stop asking, am I worthy? Because the question no longer makes sense. You live as though you are enough because you finally know you are. That knowing radiates through your words, your walk, your presence, and from that presence, relationships transform. Others sense your peace and are drawn to it. But unlike before, you do not seek their approval. You simply share your light. When someone compliments you, you receive it graciously. When someone criticizes you, you remain centered. The mirror within stays steady, reflecting love no matter what appears before it. You are learning the art of being your own safe place. You are learning to be both the comfort and the caretaker of your soul. And as you do, loneliness fades. You begin to enjoy your own company. You discover that your presence is not empty, it is alive with love. So, let us end this part with a final practice. Stand before your mirror once more. Look gently into your own eyes and say, I am lovable exactly as I am. Every day I deepen my friendship with myself. Repeat it until it feels natural. Smile softly. Feel gratitude for the courage that brought you here. The mirror has taught you to see the truth that you were never your mistakes, never your reflections' imperfections, never your fears. You are love learning to recognize itself. You are the gentle light behind every gaze, and as you deepen your friendship with yourself, life will echo it back in every form, reminding you again and again that love begins and ends within. There is a quiet moment in every healing journey when the heart finally understands that love was never meant to be a bargain. For years, we have believed that another person must complete us, that their presence will ease our loneliness. But true love is not found in another's embrace. It is remembered in our own being. When we realize this, dependency turns into peace and longing transforms into wholeness. We have all been taught to seek happiness through others, to believe that the right partner, friend, or family member will finally fill the empty spaces within us. Yet, when we depend on another for approval, we hand them the key to our peace. When they are pleased, we feel secure. When they withdraw, we crumble. This is not love. This is attachment dressed as affection. I have known that collapse, the feeling that the world has ended because someone left. But life, in its wisdom, uses such endings as beginnings. When a door closes, it is often because the universe wants us to discover a door within. It wants us to learn that solitude is not punishment, but invitation, an invitation to know ourselves beyond the roles we play. Many believe that standing alone means being lonely. Yet there is a vast difference between loneliness and aloneness. Loneliness is the ache of self-rejection. Aloneness is the peace of self-connection. When you learn to befriend yourself, silence becomes soothing. It is no longer emptiness, but sanctuary, a sacred space where your soul can finally breathe. When we are disconnected from ourselves, we enter relationships hoping others will fix the disconnection. We give to receive, we please to be accepted, we hide our needs to avoid rejection. But love born of fear cannot sustain itself. It withers beneath the weight of expectation. Only love born of wholeness can last, for it gives without demand and receives without fear. So many of us have mistaken attention for love. We confuse being desired with being valued. Yet attention can be fleeting, while love is eternal. Attention seeks to possess. Love seeks to understand. When you love yourself, you no longer settle for being noticed. You choose to be known. You stop trading authenticity for affection. To be whole means to stop chasing and start allowing. It means understanding that you are not half of a soul looking for completion. You are the entire expression of life in human form. The relationships you attract are reflections, not sources. They mirror what you already believe about yourself. When you live in self-respect, you draw in those who honor it. There is great freedom in this realization. You stop fearing loss because you understand that no one can take from you what you are. People may come and go, but your peace remains. You begin to love without clinging, to give without depleting. This is divine independence, the kind that fills rather than isolates. I often tell those I teach, you are your own lifelong companion. Others may walk beside you for a while, but only you remain from birth to death. So make that relationship tender. Speak kindly to yourself. Spend time in your own company. Treat solitude as sacred practice, not as something to escape from. Try this. Set aside time each day to be with yourself, no distractions, no noise. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and ask your heart, what do you need from me today? You may hear silence at first, but that silence has wisdom. Beneath it, your inner voice waits patiently to be heard. When you listen, life begins to feel intimate again. Perhaps your heart will say, rest. Perhaps it will say, forgive. Perhaps it will say, speak your truth. And when it does, honor it. This is how you learn trust, not through controlling others, but by keeping promises to yourself. Each time you honor your needs, you strengthen your sense of safety within your own being. When you are rooted in self-trust, relationships transform. You no longer fear being alone, so you no longer cling. You no longer suppress your voice to maintain peace, for you have already found peace within. You begin to relate from abundance, not lack. And in doing so, you allow others to love you freely, without guilt or demand. The world has long glorified romantic love as the pinnacle of fulfillment. Yet, I have met many who were partnered, yet felt profoundly lonely. Togetherness does not guarantee connection. Real connection begins when you connect inwardly. Once you feel whole, even moments of solitude are filled with presence. Even silence feels alive with meaning. Standing alone can be the most sacred act of love. It means you no longer abandon yourself to be accepted. It means you refuse to dim your light just to make others comfortable. It means you understand that the approval you once begged for was always yours to give. From this strength, love flows freely, not as a need, but as a gift. There is a peace that arrives when we stop reaching outward for validation. The body relaxes, the breath deepens, and life begins to respond differently. When you approve of yourself, you no longer seek to prove yourself. You no longer audition for affection. You simply live as love, and in doing so, you draw love wherever you go. Still, some will ask, but how do I stop craving connection? My answer is gentle. You do not stop craving. You redirect the craving inward. What you long for in others is often a reflection of what you have denied yourself. If you crave understanding, offer yourself compassion. If you crave affection, embrace yourself with tenderness. This is how the cycle ends. As you begin to fulfill your own emotional needs, you realize that love from others is not a necessity but a blessing. It becomes an addition, not a completion. You receive it with joy but without desperation. You appreciate it without fear of losing it. And in that state, relationships flourish naturally because freedom always nourishes love. You may find that as you change, some relationships fade away. Do not grieve this. When you shift your energy, life reorganizes to match it. Those who once resonated with your need may not align with your wholeness. Bless them and release them. Their part in your story is complete, and your soul is ready for harmony, not dependency. Solitude, when embraced, reveals your true power. In the quiet, you remember your creative force. You rediscover your intuition, your joy, your sense of purpose. You learn that you can be your own source of comfort and inspiration. And in that realization, life becomes expansive again, no longer something to fill, but something to express. I once believed that love required two, but love in its purest form is not a transaction between hearts. It is the natural state of the heart itself. When you rest in that knowing, you begin to love everything the wind threw. The trees, the laughter of strangers, the rhythm of your own breath. All of life becomes your companion. If you can learn to enjoy your own presence, you will never be lonely again. Loneliness is not the lack of company. It is the lack of connection with your inner world. Once you have befriended yourself, you carry home within you. Wherever you go, you are accompanied by love. Wherever you rest in peace. To live in wholeness means to stop asking others to give you what you have already found. It means you meet people from equality, not dependency. It means you can stand before anyone, loved or unloved, and know that your worth is untouched. What freedom there is in that. To love without fear of loss, to give without exhaustion, to stand alone and yet feel complete. Each morning remind yourself, I am whole. I attract wholeness. I do not seek love. I radiate it. These words are not wishes, they are truth. When you live from that vibration, you naturally attract those who mirror your peace. You will find that relationships become lighter, easier, more genuine, not because others changed, but because you did. And in those moments when old longing returns, when the heart aches for someone's presence, place your hand on your heart and say, I am here. I am not alone. Love lives within me. Feel that presence expand. It is not imagination, it is remembrance. You are recalling the truth that has never left you. The secret to eternal love is not possession, but embodiment. Become love itself, and you will never feel unloved again. You will look into the eyes of others and see yourself reflected there, not because they complete you, but because you finally recognize your own light. As this understanding deepens, your energy changes. You walk through the world differently, unhurried, peaceful, radiant. Others feel it. They may not know why, but they are drawn to you. They sense the safety that comes from a heart no longer begging for love, but quietly overflowing with it. You become a living reminder that wholeness is possible. Your presence itself becomes a healing force. And this is how the cycle turns. By loving yourself fully, you teach others that they can too. By standing whole, you help the world remember its own completeness. So let us end this part in gratitude. Close your eyes, breathe softly, and affirm, I am whole, I am enough, I do not seek love, I radiate it. Let these words fill your being. Feel the peace of no longer needing to chase what was always yours. The search ends here, not in another's arms, but in the embrace of your own spirit. And as you rise from this realization, carry this truth with you. You were never half of anything. You were always the entire song, waiting to be heard. The echo you once sought in others has always been the voice of your own heart, calling you home, and now, finally, you have answered. There comes a point on the path of healing when love is no longer something you practice. It becomes the air you breathe. You wake in the morning and the first thought is not worry or need, but gratitude. Gratitude that you exist, that you are here, that life continues to hold you even on days when you forget how radiant you are. In that gratitude, love ceases to be a visitor and becomes your very nature. Gratitude opens the heart wider than desire ever could. Desire says, I want more. Gratitude says, I already have enough. And from that quiet contentment, abundance begins to flow. When we stop grasping, we begin receiving. When we stop pleading for love, we realize it has been flowing toward us endlessly. We simply were not still enough to feel it. Life responds to our inner atmosphere. When you wake with thankfulness, the day bends to meet it. The busyness softens, the noise becomes gentler, and even small moments, a cup of tea, sunlight through a window, a kind smile from a stranger, become proof of divine order. Love expresses itself in every detail once your eyes have been trained to see. I often remind people that love is not an emotion that rises and falls. It is a way of being. It is a decision made moment by moment to align with peace instead of judgment, with understanding instead of defense. When we choose to see through the eyes of love, we are no longer separate from it. We are channels through which love moves. Becoming love itself means remembering that every thought is creative. Each time we think kindly, we bless the world. Each time we forgive, we dissolve the shadow that separates us from others. To live in love is to live as a quiet prayer, not with words, but with presence. The heart becomes a sanctuary that others can feel even before we speak. I once believed that love was something to give selectively to those who earned it, to those who stayed. But love, in its purest form, is impartial. It shines on all, like the sun that does not choose which windows to warm. When you become love, you do not lose discernment, but your heart remains open, knowing that to bless another does not mean to invite harm. It means to see through illusion into truth. You will notice that as you grow in love, your reactions soften. Where once you might have condemned, you now understand. Where once you would have closed, you now stay gentle. This is not weakness, it is strength of the highest order. It takes courage to remain soft in a world that taught you hardness as protection. Gratitude is the pathway to this softness. Each time you bless your body, your past, your circumstances, you are reminding your mind that life has never abandoned you. Even the painful moments were teachers. Every disappointment was redirection. Every heartbreak was an initiation into deeper wisdom. You can thank the lessons without needing to relive the pain. Bless your body, this faithful companion that has carried you through every season. Place your hands over it and whisper, "Thank you." Thank your feet for their journeys, your heart for its courage, your lungs for their rhythm. Speak words of love to your body, and you will feel it sigh with relief, as though it has been waiting years to hear those words. Bless your past, too, all the chapters that once made you wince. They shaped your compassion. They taught you to listen, to care, to rise. Without them, you would not know the depth of your own strength. Say, "I bless every step that led me here. I release the story of pain and hold only the wisdom it brought." And feel how light you become. Bless your mistakes. They were the hands that carved your understanding. Every choice, even the misguided ones, was an attempt to love yourself in the best way you knew how. You can honor that. You can forgive the one who acted in fear, for now you act in love. When we bless the self we once were, we dissolve the shame that kept us small. In this state, gratitude becomes a rhythm that flows without effort. You no longer need to look for reasons to be thankful. Life itself becomes the reason. The breath in your lungs, the sky above, the beating heart within each is a miracle so constant we forget its wonder. Gratitude reawakens that wonder, and in wonder, love blooms. To become love itself is to live in forgiveness, not as an act you perform, but as a state you embody. You stop keeping score of hurts. You stop rehearsing the stories of who was right and who was wrong. Instead, you rest in understanding. You know that everyone is doing the best they can with the level of awareness they have. You extend grace, not as duty, but as joy. This does not mean you tolerate unkindness. It means you remain in peace whether others awaken or not. You can step away without closing your heart. You can say no without hatred. Love does not require submission, only clarity. When you are love, you see clearly, and clarity itself becomes compassion. There is a profound freedom in no longer needing to defend your worth. When you embody love, no insult can wound your essence, no rejection can diminish your value. The judgments of others lose their sting because you know they are reflections of their own pain. You respond not with anger, but with quiet understanding. They are still learning what I have learned, that love heals all things. When you see others through the eyes of love, you stop demanding they fill your emptiness. Instead, you bless them for showing you where you still forget your wholeness. Every difficult person becomes a teacher. Every challenge becomes an invitation to deepen your practice of compassion. Life stops feeling adversarial. It becomes cooperative. You may find that you speak less and listen more, that you need less control and find more trust, that you no longer need to prove or argue because love itself is the silent answer to every question. Peace becomes your default language, and others, even without understanding why, feel calmer in your presence. This is how the world changes, not through persuasion or force, but through vibration. One heart in peace affects thousands. When you live as love, you contribute silently to the healing of all. You become a living prayer, a walking affirmation that says it is safe to open again. Love in this way is not something you send outward. It radiates like fragrance from a flower. The flower does not force anyone to come closer. It simply exists in beauty. Those who are ready will be drawn. Those who are not will walk by. And the flower remains unbothered, continuing to bloom for the joy of blooming. Be like that flower. To live as love is also to live in trust. You stop fearing the unknown because you realize that life itself is an act of love unfolding. Even the challenges carry blessings disguised in uncertainty. When you meet them with an open heart, they reveal themselves as growth, not punishment. You begin to say, I may not understand now, but I trust that this too is for my good. As this trust deepens, you become unshakable, not rigid, but steady, grounded, serene. Life's storms no longer uproot you, they water you. You stand like a tree whose roots run deep in faith. You understand that the same force that causes the seasons to change also guides your life with perfect timing. In this state, prayer becomes communion rather than request. You no longer beg, you listen. You feel connected to something vast and kind that flows through you and through all. You no longer separate yourself from the divine. You feel yourself as part of its expression. You realize that to love yourself is to honor God's creation. And so you live gently, you walk slower, you speak softer, you savor each moment as sacred. The small acts, washing your hands, feeding your body, tending to your home, become rituals of devotion. There is no separation between the spiritual and the ordinary. For when you are love, all of life becomes holy. There will still be days of sadness, moments when the old wounds whisper, but you will meet them differently now. You will no longer collapse into despair. You will cradle yourself as you would a child, whispering, "This too shall pass." You will remember that even in pain, love is present. Love does not remove pain. It transforms it into wisdom. You may notice that the people and situations that once triggered you now pass through you like wind through an open window. You no longer need to react because nothing feels personal anymore. You understand that what others do is about their inner world, not yours. This is true freedom, not isolation, but serenity amidst connection. At last, love becomes your natural state. You stop searching for miracles because your life itself becomes one. You speak gently to yourself. You extend kindness to strangers without calculation. You smile for no reason other than the joy of being alive. And in that simplicity, the divine expresses itself perfectly through you. Let us close with a final meditation. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, feel the rhythm of your heart. Whisper softly, I am love, I live in love, I share love, and all is well in my world. Repeat it until your body hums with peace. Let it sink into every cell, every thought, every heartbeat. You are affirming your true identity, not a seeker of love, but its source. As these words echo within you, understand the search has ended. You are no longer looking for love in faces, places, or promises. You have become what you were always seeking. Love was never lost, only forgotten beneath layers of fear. Now, remembered, it shines effortlessly, radiating through your being, touching everything around you with its quiet grace. You are love. You have always been love. And now that you know this, no absence can frighten you, no rejection can wound you, no silence can steal your peace. You have found the eternal home within yourself, and from that home, you bless the world. You walk gently, speak kindly, and live as proof that love is not something to find, it is what we already are.